Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope all of you are fine. We are here with the third part of diuretics, and in this lecture, we'll be basically discussing about thiazide diuretics. And before moving on, we will have a quick recap of what we did in the previous two lectures. So we have so far covered the classification of diuretics on the basis of their mechanism of action on the site of action. Then we discussed about the carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, its mechanism of action, its rationale of use in acute mountain sickness, glaucoma, and the treatment of acidic drug poisoning like aspirin. You can be asked about the effect of acetazolamide on the urinary electrolytes. Then we discussed about the loop diuretics, and the main prototype drug was furosemide, and this drug is very notorious as it causes ototoxicity. And furthermore, in the mechanism of action, it is basically acting on the thick ascending limb of loop of Henle. As the name is indicating, it's a loop diuretic, so of course it's going to act on the loop area. And it inhibits the sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transporter, and leading to decrease in the sodium levels, potassium levels, and magnesium and calcium, and creates metabolic alkalosis in the body. And then we discussed about the rationale for the use of loop diuretics in acute pulmonary edema. And this is a very important question. It's often asked in the exam. Then the toxicity of, whenever toxicity of loop diuretic is asked, you have to tell the specific toxicity as well as the effect of this diuretic on the various body electrolytes and pH, as the question was asked. So these were the questions which were asked in the yesterday's lecture. Draw a diagram to show the mechanism of action of loop. So I would just like to add on कि बच्चों ने बहुत अच्छा किया था, but the only thing which was missing was कि you were showing the normal physiology, like आपने सोडियम पोटेशियम 2 क्लोराइड ट्रांसपोर्टर दिखाया, आपने फिर कैल्शियम और मैग्नीशियम का इनसाइट दिखाया कि कैसे वो मूव करते हैं थ्रू इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल ग्रेडियंट. But if you are just explaining the mechanism of action with the help of a diagram, then this diagram should be labeled properly. You should show with the help of an arrow, an inhibition का साइन दिखा के कि लूप डाययूरेटिक्स इस जगह पर एक्ट कर रहे हैं, इस ट्रांसपोर्टर को ब्लॉक कर रहे हैं, और उसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है, सोडियम पोटेशियम एटीपीएस पंप भी ब्लॉक हो रहा है. ठीक है, फिर आपने दिखाना है कि जो कैल्शियम और मैग्नीशियम की रीअब्जॉर्प्शन हो रही थी वो भी इनहिबिट हो गई है, तो इनहिबिशन का जो साइन होता है वो आपने दिखाना है. ठीक है, मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स डिड अ वेरी गुड जॉब, लेकिन कुछ बच्चों ने बस एक दूसरे का देख कर लिखा है, तो उसको मैं ऐड करना चाहूँगी कि डायग्राम इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जैसे कहते हैं ना कि तस्वीर बोलती है, तो इसी तरह डायग्राम आपकी बोलनी चाहिए. यू डोंट हैव टू राइट द पॉइंट्स और पैराग्राफ, वो ऐसे तरीके से लेबल करो कि एग्जामिनर को आप फुल मार्क्स देने पड़ जाएँ. ठीक है, बाकी आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा किया था, पल्मोनरी एडीमा का भी, हाइपोकैलीमिया का भी, एंड टेबल भी बहुत अच्छा से बनाया था आपने इफेक्ट ऑफ डायूरेटिक्स का. सो व्हेन विल बी कवरिंग ऑल द डायूरेटिक्स, तो फिर हम एक पूरा टेबल बनाएंगे जिसमें सारे के सारे डायूरेटिक्स और इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स बना के, और फिर आपने दिखाना उस पर कि इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स ज़्यादा या कम हो रहे हैं और पीएच के ऊपर क्या इफेक्ट हो रहा है. तो शाबाश. Today's topic is basically thiazide diuretics, and as we discussed in the first lecture, these diuretics are medium efficacy diuretics, and they are hydrochlorothiazide, chlorthalidone, indapamide, and metipamide, and they're actively secreted into tubule and act in the distal convoluted tubule. ठीक है, जिस तरह से acetazolamide was acting on the proximal convoluted tubule, तो thiazide diuretics act करते हैं distal convoluted tubule पे. I will be abbreviating these terminologies as PCT or DCT in the next slides. So this is the picture of distal tubule of the nephron, and you can easily see this is the luminal side, this is the tubular cell, and this is the interstitium where there is the movement of the ions which are going to be reabsorbed. So on this side there is a sodium chloride co-transporter, there is a calcium channel, and over here there is a receptor for parathyroid hormone, and this is a sodium potassium ATPase pump, and this is a sodium calcium exchanger. So what is happening normally? Normally it is happening that this parathyroid hormone is causing the increased reabsorption of calcium, as you all know, and there is the direction of sodium and fluoride which is going to be reabsorbed, and this sodium is then exchanged for potassium with the help of sodium potassium ATPase pump. There is the sodium calcium exchanger which is under the influence of parathyroid hormone. So this is the important point. This exchanger or counter transport is basically excreting out sodium and it's reabsorbing calcium, and this is under the influence of parathyroid hormone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope all of you are fine. We are here with the third part of diuretics, and in this lecture we'll be basically discussing about thiazide diuretics. And before moving on, we will have a quick recap of what we did in the previous two lectures. So the first question which you have to answer after watching this lecture is how thiazide diuretics cause hypercalcemia. Okay? So now move on to the structure and pharmacokinetics of thiazides. They are also sulfonamide derivative except for indapamide and metapamide. All of them can be given orally and they are actively secreted by tubular secretion. So till now हमने acetazolamide पढ़ा, हमने furosemide and bumetanide पढ़ा और thiazide diuretics which are all sulfur derivatives. ठीक है? तो अगर आपने लूप डाययूरेटिक्स देना है बट यू डोंट वांट टू गिव अ सल्फर ड्रग, so you will go for ethacrenic acid, and if you want to give a thiazide then you can go for other drugs. So in mechanism of action of thiazides, we just saw the diagram, but just again we can revise it. That it's blocked the sodium chloride co-transporter, then there is decreases concentration within the cell, and as a result the sodium calcium antiporter, which is under the influence of PTH. This transporter is responsible for bringing sodium in and calcium out to the blood. So thiazides increase the activity of this transporter and further increases the more calcium to be reabsorbed by the blood and sodium in the cell to be excreted in the urine. This causes hypercalcemia. So the main difference of thiazide diuretic from the loop diuretic is the hypercalcemia. So regarding the pharmacodynamics, the renal effects are inhibition of sodium reabsorption in the DCT. Natriuretic and diuretic effects are less pronounced as that of loop diuretics. Increases calcium reabsorption. And other effects which are extrarenal are decreased preload and consequently decreases afterload, and after few weeks, like about 2 to 3, the peripheral vascular resistance also decreases. And indapamide also has a direct vasodilating effect. Similarly, as we discussed in loop diuretic, they also cause vasodilation by increasing the synthesis of prostaglandin. The same is for the thiazide diuretic, and you should be cautious while giving thiazides along with NSAIDs. So when we move on to the indications of thiazide diuretics, number one is hypertension. सबसे पहले क्यों होता है ब्लड प्रेशर कम? बिकॉज ऑफ सॉल्ट एंड वाटर डिप्लीशन. ठीक है, डायूरेसिस जब कराते हैं तो सॉल्ट एंड वाटर डिप्लीशन हुई विच लीड्स टू डिक्रीज इन कार्डियक आउटपुट. लेकिन 4 to 8 वीक्स के बाद पेरिफेरल वैस्कुलर रेजिस्टेंस भी कम हो जाती है. क्यों कम होती है? बिकॉज ऑफ द डिक्रीज वैस्कुलर स्टिफनेस. स्टिफनेस क्यों वेसल की कम होगी? बिकॉज ऑफ द रिजल्ट ऑफ लोकल डिप्लीशन ऑफ द सॉल्ट्स. So this is how thiazide diuretics are helpful for treating hypertension. In chronic heart failure, recurrent nephrolithiasis. नेफ्रोलिथियासिस का मतलब होता है कि किडनी के जो स्टोन्स होते हैं, ठीक है. और क्यों होते हैं किडनी में स्टोन्स? कई दफ़ा क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा कैल्शियम जो है वो यूरिन एक्सक्रीट आउट हो रहा होता है, जिसकी वजह से किडनी में स्टोन प्रेसिपिटेट होते हैं, ठीक है। तो अगर आप कैल्शियम को एक्सक्रीट आउट नहीं करने देंगे, you will reabsorb the calcium with the help of thiazide diuretics, so they are helpful in the treatment of nephrolithiasis, ठीक है। they are also useful in the patient with osteoporosis and nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. So here is a mnemonic to memorize thiazide diuretic. That was effects hypergluc, ठीक है। Hyper means increased and gluc में आपके पास different चीज़ें हैं, G से glucose. So you have to be careful when you are giving thiazide to the diabetic patient. Then L is for lightheadedness. पर lightheadedness क्यों होती है? तब होती है जब blood volume बहुत कम हो जाता है, hypotension होती है, especially postural, and there is also low sodium, ठीक है। And one L is missing, that is lipids. They also increase the level of lipids. And U is for uricemia, so you have to be this drug is contraindicated especially in the patients of gout, and it causes increase calcium because it is reabsorbing the calcium, ठीक है। So this is very important side effects of thiazide diuretics. And for your assignment, पहला assignment मैंने आपको जो दिया है, that is how thiazide diuretics cause hypercalcemia. आपने mechanism लिखना है. And second assignment is compare and contrast loop and thiazide diuretics on the basis of the differences in electrolytes, ठीक है। So there's a question for you, hydrochlorothiazide causes which ion to build up, ठीक है। इसमें आपका आंसर आपको इजीली पता है, अभी हमें डिस्कस भी किया है, यू आर वेरी राइट, दिस इज कैल्शियम, दे कॉज हाइपरकैल्सीमिया। So in the indications of thiazide diuretics, there is nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. First of all, what is diabetes insipidus? इसमें वो होता है कि ADH जो है, it is not either synthesized or either it is present but it's not functional, ठीक है। सेंट्रल होती है, नेफ्रोजेनिक होती है। नेफ्रोजेनिक वो है कि ADH के लेवल्स हैं लेकिन इट इज़ नॉट, इट इज़ रेजिस्टेंट, ठीक है, इट्स नॉट शोइंग इट्स इफेक्ट। तो एज अ रिजल्ट एजीएच का फंक्शन है कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड यूरिन एक्सक्रीट आउट करना, सो इट इज़ अनएबल टू डू सो, so it is going to excrete out dilute urine. So how well this is a very paradoxical effect because thiazides diuretics, these are basically diuretics are causing diuresis, तो already जो है वो dilute urine excrete out हो रहा है, so how they are helpful? So hypothesis ये है कि the antidiuretic action of thiazides is secondary to increased renal sodium excretion. जब ज़्यादा सोडियम एक्सक्रीज होता है, लॉस होता है सोडियम का, तो क्या होता है, देर इज एक्स्ट्रा सेलुलर वॉल्यूम contraction which leads to lower GFR, and there is, as a result, to compensate that, there is increased proximal tubular sodium and water reabsorption, which leads to less water and solute will deliver to the distal tubule and hence lost as a urine, ठीक है। तो ये वन ऑफ द मैकेनिज्म है, बट ऑफ कोर्स वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू गिव दिस ड्रग, इट्स अ थेरेटिकल नॉलेज, इट वाज प्रीवियसली यूज, बट फॉर द कॉन्सेप्ट आप कंफ्यूज ना होइएगा, बुक्स में लिखा हुआ है कि इट्स अ पैराडॉक्सिकल इफेक्ट, पर अब इसको हम क्लिनिकली यूज नहीं करते फॉर दिस कंडीशन। So adverse effects of thiazides: hypokalemia, metabolic alkalosis, hypoglycemia, dyslipidemia, hyperuricemia, ठीक है। Hyponatremia, hypovolemia, hypokalemia, and allergic reactions which are attributed to its sulfa structure. So you have to answer this question कि why resistance or refractoriness to thiazide diuretics develop, ठीक है। कि आप diuretics दे रहे हो, diuresis हुई भी है, लेकिन कुछ अरसे बाद that diuretics are not effective. So find out, do a little brainstorming, go and find out from Lippincott, Minikadzing, and answer the question. So in this lecture, basically, I have asked you three questions. Number one was, what is the mechanism that how thiazides increase the level of calcium in the body? And second one was, compare and contrast thiazides and loop on the basis of the differences on electrolytes and pH. And the third question is, give reasons of refractoriness or resistance to thiazide diuretics. All three questions are very important university questions. So in this, you can easily see that calcium is urinary excretion is decreased, whereas there is increased urinary excretion of sodium, potassium, and volume of urine. So I would like to end the lecture with a MCQ. Which of the following is not a therapeutic use of acetazolamide? I think everyone can answer this question within microseconds because you have revised acetazolamide again and again. And in the next upcoming lectures, when we are done with all the diuretics, then we'll be sharing more and more MCQs. And I would dedicate one lecture only to the MCQs, in which we'll be discussing all the diuretics. And kindly answer all the questions which are being asked in the lecture so that you can send it to the WhatsApp group, and your attendance would be marked. And once again, I would like to tell you that this lecture was both for MBBS and BDS students. And after that, when the diuretics are done, we'll be moving on to treatment of rheumatoid arthritis for MBBS. So thank you very much. Kindly submit your answer on the WhatsApp group, and try to submit your answers within the college timings. जो बच्चे कभी लेट भेजते हैं, they give me reasons, but I am trusting you all. Don't make it a routine कि आप उसकी late submission करो, ठीक है? I am noting down all the roll numbers who are submitting late daily. ठीक है, तो ये नहीं कि हमें पता नहीं लग रहा कि 50 स्टूडेंट्स हैं BDS के, 150 MBBS के हैं, but we are making a record of all the students. So kindly go to the lecture. I will be uploading this lecture at 9:30 a.m. both for MBBS and BDS, and you have to submit the answer right within an hour. Okay? So thank you very much.